Princess Catherine walks into a highly classified, locked-door family council at Windsor Castle. She doesn't scream. She doesn't cry. She doesn't engage in any theatrical, emotional outbursts. Instead, she sits down, opens a confidential briefing folder, and with absolute, freezing precision, completely dismantles a shadow empire being built directly inside the palace. Within hours of that single meeting, the entire balance of power within the British monarchy reportedly shifted forever. The target of this methodical, ruthless takedown? None other than Queen Camilla. For months, whispers had been circulating that Camilla was quietly orchestrating a massive, behind-the-scenes network of influence, effectively trying to secure her own power long after King Charles is gone. But she made one fatal miscalculation. She severely underestimated the future Queen of England. You are locked into Royal Watch, the undisputed authority on the raw, unfiltered truth behind palace walls. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and let's dive directly into the night Princess Catherine officially took control of the monarchy. To truly understand the sheer magnitude of this confrontation, you have to look at the terrifying, unprecedented level of secrecy surrounding this specific Windsor Council. This was not a standard ceremonial gathering, and it certainly wasn't a PR-friendly photo op. According to deep palace insiders, this meeting was organized so quickly and quietly that it immediately triggered absolute panic among senior staff. The paranoia was so intense that several royal aides were reportedly forced to completely surrender their cell phones before even stepping foot into the restricted corridors. They were placed under a strict, non-negotiable gag order. In a world where confidentiality is already the baseline, this level of extreme lockdown proved that what was about to happen inside that chamber was highly classified, incredibly dangerous, and potentially destructive to the institution itself. The atmosphere was thick with dread, and the absolute second Princess Catherine walked through the doors carrying a stack of confidential documents. Everyone in the room realized the era of polite, quiet diplomacy was permanently over. What Catherine pulled out of those folders was nothing short of an institutional earthquake. For years, Queen Camilla has been a master of surviving palace storms, utilizing private dinners, handwritten notes, and quiet alliances to cement her power. But Catherine had allegedly spent late nights inside Kensington Palace tracking a deeply disturbing pattern. She methodically laid out a trail of internal scheduling adjustments, private recommendations, and subtle shifts in royal patronages. On their own, these moves looked like boring administrative updates. But placed together, they exposed a highly coordinated, stealthy campaign to pack the palace with figures exclusively loyal to Camilla's inner circle. Catherine calmly pointed out that unofficial promises and backdoor deals were being utilized to redistribute long-term institutional influence. She didn't attack Camilla's character. She attacked the data. And the fact that she delivered this devastating blow without ever raising her voice reportedly left the most senior courtiers in the room absolutely stunned into absolute silence. But the most terrifying part of this confrontation wasn't just the documents. It was the massive, looming threat those documents represented. Palace insiders have quietly referred to this shadowy operation as the Regency Circle. This wasn't just about who got to cut a ribbon at a charity event next Tuesday. This was a highly calculated survival strategy. Camilla knows that her ultimate power is entirely dependent on King Charles. The absolute second his reign ends, her funding, her access, and her institutional relevance completely evaporate. The Regency Circle was allegedly her quiet attempt to embed her own loyalists deep into the fabric of the monarchy, ensuring she maintained an iron grip on palace politics long into Prince William's future reign. Catherine saw exactly what was happening. She recognized that this invisible power grab was actively eroding the constitutional balance of the House of Windsor, threatening to split the monarchy into competing, hostile factions just when public trust was at its most fragile. As the tension inside the chamber reached an absolute boiling point, King Charles reportedly looked entirely exhausted, painfully trapped between defending his wife and acknowledging the undeniable evidence presented by his daughter-in-law. Prince William sat visibly tense, fiercely protective of Catherine, ready to detonate if anyone dared to disrespect her. But the ultimate plot twist, the moment that permanently shattered Camilla's defense, came from the unlikeliest of allies. Princess and the Iron Lady of the royal family and the absolute ultimate defender of institutional discipline, stepped in and completely backed Catherine without a single moment of hesitation. When Princess Anne aligns against you, you have officially lost the war, and bluntly warned the room that boundaries were quietly disappearing, and that once unofficial, backdoor structures are allowed to operate, restoring stability becomes impossible. With and throwing her massive, uncompromising weight behind the Princess of Wales, Camilla was suddenly left completely isolated, exposed, and entirely outmaneuvered. The immediate aftermath of this explosive council did not play out in the tabloids, which is exactly what makes it so chilling. The palace didn't issue a dramatic press release or fire anyone publicly. Instead, they executed a silent, ruthless purge. Within 48 hours, the atmosphere behind closed doors shifted completely. Invitations to strategic planning sessions were quietly revoked. Advisors known to be heavily aligned with Camilla'S shadow network suddenly found their meetings cancelled and their access severely restricted. Influence inside the monarchy doesn't usually end with a screaming match. It ends with a locked door and a silent phone. Catherine had drawn an absolute, non-negotiable line in the sand, and the entire royal machine immediately recognized that crossing it was professional suicide. The power center of the British monarchy had officially, undeniably shifted away from the king's wife and directly into the hands of the Wales household. We are currently watching the ultimate evolution of Princess Catherine. The media spent years painting her as the quiet, patient, diplomatic peacemaker of the family. But this extraordinary Windsor Council proved that beneath the flawless public smiles lies an incredibly brilliant, ruthless protector of the crown. She didn't seek out this conflict, but she proved she is absolutely willing to walk through the fire to protect the institution her children will one day inherit. Camilla played the long game for decades, outsmarting almost everyone in her path, but she finally ran into the one woman she simply cannot manipulate. The battle for the future of the monarchy is no longer a theoretical concept. It is happening right now, behind closed doors, and Catherine is holding all the cards.